Today I'll be transforming Kmart crew neck tees using a no-dye technique with products that you probably have sitting in your cupboards at home. So I'm using these Kmart T-shirts, and as you can see, they've got really great reviews and people are actually using them for the similar thing I use them for, because I use them for promotions for Georgia's business, for merchandise for her business also. Hi, it's Danny here from Our Humble Home DIY. Thank you for joining me today. So this is a t-shirt I'll be using for the first makeover, and this will be a tie-dye using bleach. So we'll be needing the black t-shirt. I'm using string, so I'll be needing string and scissors, but you could use rubber bands. A household bleach, any bleach, it doesn't have to be great. I mean, bleach is pretty cheap, and also I use a spray bottle as well. So with tie-dye, I don't think there's really anything you can do that is wrong with it, unless you want specific type of pattern, but I'm really no tie-dye expert. In fact, I've probably done it once or twice before, so all I'm doing here is sort of just tying up the t-shirt at intervals. One thing though is to make sure that the fabric is sort of pulled out and not folded over completely, because if it is, then once it's dyed, you're going to get big patches of black. So just sort of make sure that there are a lot of pieces of the shirt that are going to be sort of exposed to the bleach. And I just tie it up like that, and this will be my first t-shirt pattern that I do. So this really takes no time at all. It's so quick and easy. So as far as the bleach goes, I probably put half and half in, half water, half bleach, and I just sprayed it on to make sure that it is well covered and that it is quite wet on both sides. And then I left it out in the sun for about 30 minutes, but it really didn't take that long to come down and bleach. It's just that I let it also dry completely in the sun, and that took about 30 minutes as well. After it had dried in the sun, I untied it and I just rinsed it off with water. I popped it in the washing machine and I washed it as I would normally with washing detergent, and I hung it out to dry. Because this is for Georgia's songwriting workshop, I am going to put her logo on it, and I wasn't sure what to do. In the end, I just decided on this little one up in the corner, but I did design this, which I thought was really cool, and I might do that on some different t-shirts. And then the first thing I did is just measure to get the actual size of the little logo at the top. I was going to do a border around it, so I used the offset to do that, so a little white border, but in the end I just decided to do the block print in orange. So I had to make up 4 t-shirts this way, and it really takes no time at all. It's so fast and so effective, I think, in doing it this way. I guess you could experiment with a stronger bleach to see what color you could get. You could even do a lighter bleach and not leave it in as long, and it would not make it so orange, I guess. But I really loved the look of the way it turned out, and I thought it was really, and Georgia loved it too, and she's actually given one to one of the kids and they thought it was really cool and trendy too, and it's a great promotional t-shirt as well for her business. I normally just do a black t-shirt with some sort of decal on it, but I just wanted to try something different this time, and I thought this really worked out lovely. And probably, I mean, these could be t-shirts we could even sell as well. And that's the end product. These Kmart t-shirts we've used and I've worn before, so we know the quality of them. I mean, they're a $4.50 t-shirt from Kmart. They're actually in the men's section. They're a crew neck tee. You can get a v-neck as well, but they wash really well and they hold their shape, and they're a great quality for the actual price. One thing I meant to say too was I don't wet any of the t-shirts before I do any of these processes. So for the next t-shirt, I'm going to be using paint. Now, I just wanted to try paint on this because I have used paint on cushions before. It wasn't watered down or anything, but it was just straight paint I used as a stencil, and I was so surprised with that because I used to wash that cushion and it might have faded a teeny little bit, but it didn't wash out or anything. So the first thing I'm going to try is another tie-dye on a white t-shirt. These are Kmart $4.50 t-shirts as well, and I'm doing a bit of a different pattern here. I'm just trying this sort of one. I had a look on YouTube at some different ways you can do the tie-dye, but this time I'm using paint, and this is just a $1 tube of Kmart & Co acrylic paint I've put half a cup of water there, and I haven't measured the paint, I've just drizzled it in, and as you can see, it's a really, really runny mixture. This is the first time I've done this, and I did not know what it was going to turn out like. I was hoping the color would be pink. I'm thinking red most probably will turn out pink, and I was really pleased because this is such a really pretty pink, and so I sprayed all over it. I did end up using all of this, so it was half a cup. So this did one shirt, and I let it dry in the sun. Now it's time to unravel it and to see what the pattern looks like, and it's okay. A bit weird. It looks a bit like it's got some sort of disease, but the color turned out so pretty. I was really pleased with the color, and at this point I just let it dry in the sun. So what I'm doing now is it's called heat setting. So by ironing, because it is paint, it will help the paint to absorb into the fabric so that it bonds with the fibers. And this is, I think, a process you don't have to do with the dye, because I think the dye is created and the way the dye is made is that it actually will naturally bond with the fibers, and that's the difference between dye and the fabric paint. And I really wasn't, to be honest, sure how this was going to work out, especially washing this, but at the end I washed them both and you'll see what happens. But the difference between dyes and paints is that a dye will penetrate the surface rather than bonding to the top of the surface. So like paint does. So that's the difference, and that's why it's ultra important. And you can just throw it into the if you've got a clothes dryer, you can throw it into the clothes dryer as well, but maybe also paint. They say to put a layer on between like greaseproof paper or something when you're ironing, but I never did. I just ironed over it on a pretty high heat, and I added a decal, and I thought it turned out really, really pretty, and I was really pleased with it, and actually quite a little bit surprised too on how it turned out, considering this was just normal acrylic craft paint. So I'm doing another one, but I'm trying something a little different. So I'm doing a reverse stencil and using acrylic paint to dye the t-shirt. So I'm making here, using the offset key, I'm making a border for this decal I have here. To make the actual border, you have to join both layers, go down to combine and press slice twice, and that will create a border then that you can cut out. So I'm using the dark piece there, and that will be the sticky decal I will put on to make the reversible stencil. And then the other border I will be cutting out in HTV vinyl and actually ironing that on after the t-shirt is dried. I have to say too that when with the first t-shirt and even this one, you would think being paint it would be, and you know, reading up about dyeing with paint and coloring things with paint on fabric, it's really stiff and people add fabric softener to it, but by adding water to it, this is not stiff at all. I don't find it stiff at all when I'd finished. It was nice and soft, maybe not as soft as just the normal t-shirt would be, but I couldn't feel any difference really. It was soft to me, so that was a surprise as well. It's not going to make your fabric or your t-shirts or your clothes stiff. I mean, that would be a problem. But now I'm just applying the decal. So this is just a sticky decal, and I'm putting it on with transfer tape, which did take a little bit of time because when I pulled the tape off, which I'm just using normal contact paper, and that could be why it did tend to pull the sticker off a bit. But if you just sort of rub it and be careful pulling it off, hold the fabric down, you'll get the tape off fine. And then after that, I just did the same thing. I used 1 cup this time because I wanted to actually dye the whole shirt. I'm going to spray the whole shirt with this, and I'm using pretty blue paint, and I thought this would come out a nice light pale blue as well after seeing how the red came out on the previous t-shirt. And as you can see, I'm wearing my t-shirt. I actually really like it. And then this one's a bit different. I'm just spraying it on. I did sort of intend to want to make it more of like a not a stone wash, but sort of ombre type of thing. So this I didn't want it to be a solid blue. Basically, I just wanted it to be sort of painted over and just sort of naturally, and just a bit like a tie-dye sort of, but not really. Does that make sense?
Silhouettes of you are like a taunt.
I let that dry completely in the sun, and then I brought it in and I took off the stencil. This actually didn't work out how I thought it would. It did bleed under the sticker, but to be honest with you, I think that looks pretty cool anyway. I think that's a nice effect, so I didn't mind that and I wouldn't consider it a fail. But I am applying the border to the top, so I'll be ironing the border on, and this will give it a more, I guess, decorative and distinct sort of appearance. I did iron this shirt as well completely, like I did with the first one too, just to set the paint, and that's what it looks like, and I really loved it. I have worn this and actually it looks so much prettier in real life. The blue is so much prettier, but I wasn't sure yet what it would be like when I actually washed these things. And what I did for the first wash is I put them both into the one wash cycle. Now I'm thinking this is going to come out purple. I can just see it. It's going to run and come out purple, or it's not going to stay put. But miracle of miracles, I was really surprised that this didn't fade. It didn't run. The white stayed white. The colours stayed their colour. It didn't seem to fade or lighten at all, and I was really surprised with that. And so I think this is a great success, and I'm going to be getting some more of these t-shirts and dyeing them like this. And it's so cheap. It costs nothing really. I mean, everyone has acrylic paint in their house. Their kids have it, you know, in their cupboard, and it's actually a great project for kids to do too. And the t-shirts are cheap. So it's a very affordable DIY, I would say, and very successful. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope I didn't rave on too much, but thank you, and I hope it gives you some ideas. If you go to Kmart, grab some of their t-shirts and try it. I hope you all have a great week, and bye for now. Would have done with priming this, as it turned out, but when I opened the tin, I was impressed actually. I thought it was a really nice sort of, I know it's wet there, but it's a really nice metallic-y sort of colour. It actually reminded me of if you've ever made honeycomb and after you've added the bicarb soda, it all puffs up. And that's what it looks like.